Hello, Captain-versary here, and welcome to my little man cave. We are back for another look at my collection. Now, this is a particularly special look at the collection because I'm recording today on the 3rd of December 2023, which means that today is actually the 1-year anniversary of my first content on the channel. Well, first model making content, but it's the first one you can see, and the rest of it is hidden for your own benefit. So, yeah, don't ask. So what we're going to do is just have a little look at all of the kits that I have completed since starting the YouTube channel. There will actually be a little bit of an overlap into November last year because some of the earlier kits were actually recorded back before the channel started for obvious reasons, and therefore if I do this again next year, I will take it from this point. Anything that is finished after this video will be in that one, but we'll deal with that in a year's time if the channel, of course, still exists in a year's time, which, fingers crossed. I do just want to put in a massive thank you. Like I say, this is my first year making content, and the response has been really, really good. I've had positive support from other modelers in the community who ultimately peer pressured me into doing this. I'm joking, I was going to do it anyway, it's fine. Honestly, with over 150,000 views on my channel, more than 8,800 watch hours, and 1,111 subs, I've done better than I thought I would, quite frankly. I didn't expect to last this long, and you've been a wonderful community, so thank you for watching. Give yourself a big round of applause. Go and get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. This will be a quick look at these kits. Most, but not all of them, are on the channel, so there are some surprises in here that you will not have seen before. I will explain why when we get there, but it will just be a brief overview, unless, of course, they are these ones that haven't been seen before. But it was just a way of celebrating 12 months of this channel. If you have any questions about any of the models that are shown here and I haven't clarified them, then by all means just put in the comments below. I will try and answer where possible as quickly as I can. Otherwise, just enjoy, and at the end of the video there will be a little update as to what to expect in 2024. So once again, thank you from me. We begin where everything all started. The first video on the channel, December 2022, almost got the year wrong straight away, was this English Electric Lightning by Airfix. It was made as part of the Moz 6510 Models Lightning Patch Challenge. I say challenge, you make a kit and you get a patch. It's a win-win situation, really. And to those that don't know, my introduction to this whole YouTube thing in a scale modelling context was via Moz 6510 Models on his regular Airfix and Chill, which still happens every Monday. Admittedly, I haven't actually been a part of them for quite a while. I drop by periodically in chat, but I've been a bit too busy on Mondays. That's definitely something I want to change for next year. Moz, if you don't know, fantastic channel. You really should follow. Why is the camera out of focus? Look at that. Do you see that? The lightning was so fast in spinning that the camera just couldn't keep up with it. So anyway, yes, Moz is a fantastic channel. Massive shout out. Follow if you haven't already. And if you make a lightning, you can get a patch. Look at that. Ooh. Fantastic. The next kit to feature on the channel was this, the starter set Hawk from Airfix, which I decided to make whilst drinking any red beer I could find, and in 5 hours I ended up with a headache and a kit as the end result. But it was made entirely as a starter set challenge, so only things out of the box, as well as a couple of basic tools, but nothing substantial. Honestly, came out really, really well. Again, just scroll back and you'll see the video if you wish. One of the last kits that I built off stream and off the internet was an Airfix Hawker Tempest. I tried to rectify that with these two. These are the Kovazovody Prostyov, also known as KP models Tempests. You get a Mark II there in silver and the Mark V in camouflage. They were brush painted, as most models up to a certain point, in fact all of them up to when I say will be. However, these two represent what you can get out of a company like KP, so less well known than your big brand, your Airfix stuff, but really, really lovely little models. This tiny little thing is the RS Models Booker Jungmann. Jungmann was essentially a basic trainer aircraft for the Luftwaffe, like a primary trainer if you like, and I made this one off of YouTube, so it did appear in some streams, but I was not recording at the time, so there is no video of this. So this is one of those bonus kits that I told you about. It has been rigged in the same manner as my SV4B, which you'll see later, using guitar string, but a very small and lovely little kit. Next we have the Airfix Gloucester Meteor, again 1/72 unless I state otherwise, and this was all again brush painted using, I think it was the Hataka paints, wasn't it? It is lovely, and I've got another one which is the Collectors Club to make, but this one, yes, look at it revolving there, a lovely, lovely kit. Definitely one to pick up if you have not already. If you haven't, why not? I mean, maybe you don't like the Meteor, but if you don't like the Meteor, why not? Pirouetting for you now is an Airfix Folland's Gnat made in fictitious camouflage, inspired by one of the preserved ones actually. However, it was mostly there just because I really liked the aircraft and I just really wanted to paint it in a camouflage colour. I just felt like it and I did. Again, that is on the channel, but now coming around is something that isn't on the channel, which is an Extra 300, the wonderful aerobatic aircraft, legends of air shows for the last couple of decades now. A really, really lovely aircraft. However, I didn't record the building of this, and it's probably best that I didn't, because the yellow did not come out very well. It's not a particularly good shade. I think it clashes somewhat with the red, as in that the contrast just doesn't look right. It was a bit of a faff. However, it is very, very small. It's not easy to make a Fallen Gnat look big, but the Extra 300 somehow manages it, so well done, bravo. I have somehow built a bit of a reputation for being a moth fan, particularly the tiger moth, but I've never actually featured a tiger moth on the channel. This is the closest, which is the A-model DH60, aka the Moth Major. It is, again, a lovely plane because it's de Havilland moth, and obviously all of them are fantastic. But there will be a tiger moth very soon on the channel. We now have the Hella starter set Hellcat that, quite frankly, should have gone in the bin. I did not enjoy making it. I don't like the colours. The paints look like household emulsion. It is garbage. It should just be discarded. Don't buy it. Please save yourself. And the next one is an equally vintage, actually no, more vintage aircraft. It is the fantastic Grumman Bearcat, as modelled by Monogram in the Revell boxing. And it was the first aircraft that I ever airbrushed. So a bit of a contrast here. We have a starter set that shouldn't exist and an old but fantastic sprayed Bearcat. It's a Spitfire by Airfix. Woo, yay! It's the F-22 again, airbrushed. It was only presumably the second aircraft that I airbrushed. Logically, given that the Bearcat was the first, I was expecting this kit to be a bit rubbish, and when I made it, I realised I was a total idiot. It was actually fantastic, and it was also a very, very good way of experimenting with metallic finishes. It's not actually that metallic because it was a lacquer rather than metallic paint. However, it was a good learning experience. Again, full build is on the channel. To prove that it is not all planes that feature on the channel, we have two things that are slightly different. We have the Hella Alouette, again made as a starter set, so using the questionable Hella paints mostly, and the 1/100th Matilda II tank, the absolutely adorable miniature kit via Zvezda. Just something a little bit different, and more armour will appear next year. Helicopters, maybe not, but definitely more armour. More Airfix and more Hawks, these two being the 2021 Collectors Club? No, 2022 Collectors Club kits. There we go. You get a lovely pair of Hawks, the first and last. Again, airbrushed. The red, white and grey one in particular, the first, was again one of those kits where I was just really, really proud of the finish. And looking at it now, I still think that is amazing. I can't quite believe it was me that made that. Obviously, the black one is lovely as well, but the black one is a single colour and, you know, easier to get right. It's a Vought Corsair. It's by Tamiya. Yeah, it's fine. No, seriously, it's a good kit. And this was the first Tamiya kit that I've featured on the channel. Again, there will be more, but that's just because I usually have at least one in the stash. And we have our first casualty. I've accidentally knocked one of the bits off of this KP Cessna. It's fine. It's on the floor somewhere. The carpet monster's probably been fed. It's okay. The main thing with this plane is it's got a polar bear. Look at the video and you get to see me playing with a polar bear. Not a real one, obviously, the decal of a polar bear. It is a well-known fact that the Hawker Hunter is the sexiest aircraft ever built. Well, jet-powered aircraft ever built anyway. And here we have two of them, the Revell one, which was brush painted, and the Mr. one, which was airbrushed. Don't ask me why I did it that way round, just watch the videos. The Mr. one is, of course, utter rubbish, and the Revell one is perfectly fine. It's a nice kit. I might buy another one day. The Mr. one is lucky it's still alive. There have been many times where I just thought about throwing it out the window. This may be its last ever appearance online before it has a slight accident involving, I don't know, gravity, I guess. It's another Airfix starter set. Woo! This time it's the Tiger, which I built whilst on the road with my band Apollo Stand. You know, as you do when you're a rock star travelling around to different venues and hotels every week, you take an Airfix tank and build it. If it weren't for the Hunter, I would put this down as one of the potentially best looking jets ever. The Airfix de Havilland Vampire. Again, airbrushed, and it is beautiful, and I might have to make another one. I'm open for, actually, I was about to say I'm open for ideas for another Vampire to do, then I've realised I've actually got another one, so I should probably just make that. Not Airfix though, so if you can guess which manufacturer of Vampire I've got in my stash, then there could be a prize. The prize is nothing, but there could be a prize. Another kit that has not appeared on YouTube, but I have only recently finished, is this Airfix Messerschmitt 262. The reason why is simple. I expected to airbrush it, and at the time of starting it, which was actually for one of Moz's streams, which was back therefore sort of October, November 2022, at that time I didn't own an airbrush, and as such I couldn't finish it. So I assembled it, I brush painted the underneath, and then decided I would wait until I had a bit more airbrush skill and an airbrush to be able to finish it. But because the footage was either recorded extremely badly or just not recorded at all, it never made a video. So I had a recent spate, maybe sort of September this year, where I just cleared up some projects that had been lying around, and this was one of them. It is the first time I've done a soft camo line, so the divide between the top colours and the bottom, and around the swastika you can also see the mottling effect. It's alright. Obviously I could have done better, but for my first time, not bad. By a considerable margin, the most watched video on my channel this year is the build video for the Airfix SRN1 Vintage Classics. I thoroughly enjoyed building it. I did rush it a little bit. That is very, very apparent in the fit. However, it's a hovercraft, and it's silly and it's wonderful, and just look at it. Oh yes, and an update for anyone that did comment on the video that I should make the people. I will, at some point, probably paint the people. However, I am a bit rubbish. Two aircraft that are not particularly similar sharing the turntable at the moment. The Airfix P40B, or Tomahawk Mark II, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's what it is, with aftermarket decals. This is a recent video on the channel, and I had great fun building this, which is convenient because I have another at least one lying around somewhere, and the Stamp SV4B from Fromageur, who make a few versions of this aircraft, and I love this aircraft, and spoilers, there will be at least one more on the channel next year. Not this kit actually, so see if you can work out what I mean by that. And it is again rigged by use of guitar string. Orange is not the easiest colour to spray, and I am ridiculously proud of how that came out. It's actually been sitting on the shelf closest to the door, just that every time I walk into the room I get to stare at it. Finally then, to bring this year to a close, we have the starter set Shootout, which was a series of 4 different brands, all selling them with paints, selling kits with paints and cement, and as you can see there are only 3 on the turntable. So at time of recording, you will already know this, of course, because this is coming out in a few weeks' time, but at time of recording, the 4th kit, which was a Mr. Craft starter set, simply didn't arrive. And realistically, looking at the time now, I'm not going to have the ability to build it even if it arrives on Monday morning. So these are the 3 that successfully arrived and were built, which formed another trio of starter sets that I've made. Finally then is a spoiler for what is coming next year and some of the variety that I have for you. So we have an Airfix Spitfire, a KP Spitfire, a Hella Spitfire, a KP Spitfire but in pink, and a not quite a Spitfire. But in all seriousness, we do of course have this, which is the first 148 kit I will have built in a very long time, and the first with an airbrush, and it will hopefully turn out to be fantastic. However, if for any reason it becomes a complete pain in the backside, I actually have another one. Final serious note is just raise a glass to my channel members. Thank you very much for the support you've given in the 6 or so months that channel membership's been a thing. If you would like to join them, there will hopefully be more perks the more of you there are. For now, it's just the occasional spam of silly messages, and of course you get a shout out when you join. One final comment on the future of the channel is that videos are likely to drop to once every fortnight. I'm going to stop aiming for once every week, aim for once every other week, just to take the pressure off a bit, because doing 52 videos a year is actually quite difficult, and I've got more on my plate now than I had this time last year. But hey, that's a me issue. I'm just letting you know, so you don't come shouting at me every week going, hey, where's your video this week? If I can get a video out every week, I will. Alright? If you celebrate Christmas, have a lovely Christmas. If you celebrate New Year, have a lovely New Year. If you just want to sit on your own at your workbench during that time, absolutely fine by me. That's what hopefully I'll be doing. And I will see you again in the new year if I don't get a video up before then. And, well, yeah, like, subscribe, notification bell if you want, and just be yourself and relax. Thanks again.